Hey everyone, welcome back. I see a lot of you are buzzing about Bitcoin this week.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was anything but quiet in the crypto world, huh?
You got that right. Bitcoin went on a bit of a wild ride, and we're going to break down exactly what happened. We're taking a look at this piece from Barron's to help us make sense of it all, by the way. Shout out to Callum Keown for the great insights.
Awesome.
So, picture this. Most people are probably, I don't know, loosening their belts after a big Thanksgiving meal, or maybe going for seconds on that pumpkin pie.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But meanwhile, Bitcoin's like, no time for leftovers, I'm heading to the moon.
Yeah.
Surges past $97,000 in the wee hours of Thanksgiving morning. Can you believe that?
It is pretty wild, especially when you think about it. The day before, it was just chilling around 92,900. What a jump.
It is. What do you think fueled that sudden spike?
Well, we'll get into all the juicy details, but first, let's set the scene right.
Sure.
So, Bitcoin hits this high of $97,336 overnight. But then, just like that sugar rush after too much pie, it kind of comes crashing back down to earth.
Right. Okay, I see where you're going with this analogy.
Settles back down to around $95,402. So close to hitting that $100,000 mark, but not quite.
Oh, man. So close. So what happened? Why the sudden surge and then the pullback?
Well, there are a few theories floating around. This analyst, Rania Gul from XS.com, she's got some interesting ideas. She's pointing to a couple of key things.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, one thing is, it looks like institutional demand might be waning a bit.
Okay, institutional demand. So for those of us who don't speak fluent Wall Street, what does that really mean?
Right, good point. Basically, it means the big players, think like hedge funds, investment firms, those kind of guys, they've been getting more and more into crypto lately, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And when these giants make moves, well, it can really shake things up in the market. Like, they're buying and selling, it can make prices swing wildly.
So basically, they're like the whales of the crypto ocean.
Perfect analogy. And it seems like some of these whales might be getting a little bit, well, less hungry for Bitcoin right now.
Interesting. So why the sudden change of heart? Were they not bullish on Bitcoin before?
They were. But you know how it is. Institutional investors, they're super sensitive to all sorts of things happening in the wider economy. Maybe they're reacting to interest rates going up, or maybe they're just a bit spooked by uncertainty in other markets.
Makes sense. So they're getting cold feet.
Yeah, something like that. And we're actually seeing evidence of this in the ETF flows.
ETF flows. Okay, let's break this down a bit further for the listeners who are still getting their heads around all this. What are ETF flows, and why should we care?
Absolutely. So a SPIFTA Bitcoin ETF, imagine it's like a basket filled with Bitcoin that's traded on the stock market.
Okay, but Bitcoin basket on the stock market. I can dig it.
Exactly. It lets those more traditional investors kind of dip their toes into the Bitcoin waters without actually having to like directly buy and hold the digital currency themselves. It's like, buying shares in a gold mining company instead of actually buying bars of gold.
Gotcha. So you're not actually buying the Bitcoin itself. You're buying something that represents its value. That makes sense.
Right on. And these ETF flows, they show us how much money is flowing in and out of these Bitcoin ETFs.
So that's where the clues are.
Yep. And what we're seeing is there were some big outflows from U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs recently. We're talking like $123 million on Tuesday and then a whopping $435 million on Monday. That's a lot of people hitting that sell button.
Wow, that's a lot of cash flowing out.
Right. So that definitely suggests some investors are getting a bit skittish.
Makes sense. But wait a minute. I remember the article also mentioned that there were actually net inflows of $103 million on Wednesday. So is it possible that some investors are seeing this dip as a buying opportunity?
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin's on sale, time to stock up kind of situation.
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of crypto. It's a constant tug of war between, those long-term believers who are in it for the ride and those who are just looking to make a quick buck.
So it's like a crypto roller coaster. Ups and downs, thrills and chills.
You got it. And that kind of brings us back to what that analyst, Rania Gul, was saying.
Right. She's the one who said Bitcoin can't just keep hanging out above $100,000 forever without a correction, right? But what does that even mean? Like, what is a correction?
Well, a correction is basically like Bitcoin taking a breather, catching its breath after that big run.
Okay, so a timeout for Bitcoin.
Exactly. The price kind of levels out for a while, moves within a smaller range, and that gives the market a chance to, digest those recent gains and find a new balance before it potentially takes off again.
So it's like a pit stop before the next leg of the race.
Perfect analogy. And I think her point is, even though these big price spikes are exciting, we got to remember that volatility is just part of the game in crypto.
Totally. It's a wild ride, and you got to be ready for the twists and turns. But hey, it wasn't just Bitcoin having all the fun this Thanksgiving, right? The article mentioned that a few other cryptocurrencies were also enjoying the holiday cheer.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Ethereum, Doge, Coin, Solana, they were all partying it up too. I think Ethereum was up like almost 5%. Dogecoin jumped nearly 3%, and Solana gained over 4%. Pretty impressive.
That's awesome. It's good to see some love for the altcoins, too.
Yeah.
So if we try to wrap this all up in a neat little bow, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the big takeaway is Bitcoin's price is a bit of a roller coaster, influenced by all sorts of factors, like those big institutional investors and just, well, good old-fashioned market psychology. And while the recent spike was definitely exciting, we always got to keep in mind that volatility is just par for the course in the crypto world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Mm.
So to our amazing listeners, we want to hear from you. Do you think this recent inflow of $103 million into those Bitcoin ETFs is a sign that the big players are starting to believe again? Or is it just a little blip on the radar? Hit us up with your thoughts. And of course, a huge thank you to Callum Q and Barron's for giving us so much to talk about today. The article is from November 28th, 2024, if you want to check it out yourself.
Absolutely. Great article.
Okay, that's all the time we have for today, but keep those questions coming, and we'll be back next time with another deep dive into the world of crypto.
See you then.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.